Okay, it's day 152. This is part two, and we have the shooting this morning at Great Mills High School here, only about 6 miles from NAVAIR that we've been talking about. You people may remember Martin Ahmad that we featured there at NAVAIR as an SES, what I call a helicopter SES, where he kind of helicopters in over these career professionals that have spent their life flying jets and so forth. And the parents are being met over at Leonardsville High School over here, Leonardtown High School over here, at the MedStar St. Mary's. So you can see how close these MedStars are to these major naval air stations like NAVAIR, which is the head of all naval aviation. It's much like NAVC at the Naval Yard. NAVAIR is at Pax River is the head of all Navy operations. Now, this isn't the other side of the Maryland is kind of like a tongs. Like a barbecue tongs. It isn't the other side over here at Salisbury. You may remember Task Force and I going to Salisbury, the high school there, the International College, with all the international people getting TWICs, TWICs. TWIC, if you get a TWIC, you can go anywhere in the world, work at any port, including an airport or a Navy port. So, just with one fingerprint. So it's ripe for in Salisbury to make those fake IDs, because basically you print money, you print ways in and out of ports with that. But that's aside from the point. This morning there's three people shot this morning here at this high school. I'm not saying it's a warning shot to say keep quiet at NAVAIR. It could just be total happenstance, but it does kind of combine today's news with the rest of the story. Which is the importance of NAVAIR in the purchase of F-35s, all the advanced F-18, F-22s, et cetera, as well as all the Navy ordnance, like those Tomahawk missiles that are $6 million a piece. And if you don't remember the story we did about 5 days ago on Mr. Ahmad, Martin Ahmad, we wondered, did he have trouble with when he lost his ID, did he have trouble with his remembering his middle name, and is that why he has so many different aliases? Sometimes people just forget when they get new IDs, when they lose their old IDs. So I'm not saying anything here is untoward, but what I am saying is that the senior executive service here, and there's been a lot of people doing shows on senior executive service, there used to be up to GS 15. There was a GS 16, 17, and 18, and what happened was. The SES was lopped off. Those top three positions were lopped off, and they created this senior executive service. This is exactly what happened in Night of the Long Knives with the Nazis, where they took all the generals out to a big meeting. They killed about 1,000 that night, and usually the ratio is you kill 1,000, the other 7,000 fall in line. And this was kind of the same idea. They retired off the top 1,000 GS people, and then they made their own rules for the top three grades. And really, is it really just Christine Marcy, or did she have the director of the Central Intelligence Agency at that time in 1977, George Bush, behind this idea of making the SES kind of like the same idea that when the SS was created? The SS was mainly created, took form at Night of the Long Knives. It isn't the 333, the half evil folks. Aren't those really kind of a reincarnation of the brown shirts? Well, we'll see. We'll see over time. But it does look like, even in the two examples, the other one was William Levy in Long Island that we'll go back to. We have one Will Levy coming from China Lake in California, if you remember his case, and then kind of as a Navy police officer. And then there's this other Will Levy from this Roslyn, Long Island, that has all these Lamborghinis and Porsches and Mercedes and so forth. So these are the things we're going to look for. These are the signatures that we're going to look for. But really, we only had to pick two to have something very kind of meaty to talk about. And again, if you go through the PlumBook, which supposedly has all the openings, the SES, you don't see any Ahmads. You don't see, and I went through all the Martins as well, not listed. So that's where I say this SES service is a hidden service. We'll be drilling more down on Mr. Ahmad and NAVAIR, NAVC, as well as China Lake.